Okay, I'm just gonna mention this briefly for two reasons. One, I want you to know about it because it's cool. Secondly, it is a way of you being able to track how often people are actually paying attention to the stuff that you put out on LinkedIn and Twitter. Because that can help you assess whether or not it's worth the time that it's taking for you to do something. For instance, if you have your own blog, you might write stuff and you might think, oh, I'll give this out to the world. But if you don't look at your stats, you don't know how useful it's being to the world and whether or not they're actually looking. And here's a stat that is awesome. 94% of blogs are only read by the person who wrote it. 94%. And people forget about that because they write a blog entry and they put it out in the world and they think, there it is, it's out there, it's out there. Well, if nobody's looking, it didn't do the world any good. There's something like 250 million blogs. That's almost a blog for every person in the United States because, you know, there are people outside the United States. But if you think about how many blogs that is, it's unbelievable. Here's the point. Bitly is a URL shortener. So again, if you have a long URL and you wanted to put it in a LinkedIn post or in a Twitter post, there are free sites that will shrink that for you, and one of them is called Bitly. So if you give it a long URL, Bitly will give you a short URL that'll have the form bit.ly/ABC123 or something like that. Have you seen these before? A lot of people will have seen them someplace. Okay, may not be for Bitly, but you may have seen it for other ones. Here's the thing about Bitly that's unique. With Bitly, you can actually see how many people clicked on that link. And you can see it whether you set up the Bitly link or they set up the Bitly link. I want you to sit on that thought for a moment. If somebody else takes Bitly and they make a long URL into a short URL, and they use Bitly, and you think, I wonder if anybody's actually clicking on that. I wonder if anybody actually cares. And I picked a specific example. I was going to a sales conference, and a friend of mine is named Coca Sexton, and he works for LinkedIn. He's one of the top guys in LinkedIn. And he did a video interview with another guy, okay? And the other guy is a LinkedIn trainer. The two of them did this video interview. So they, I mean, think about it. They had to get together. They take an afternoon off. They do this interview. They post the video. They then put out a tweet about their interview, and they used Bitly. So here's what I did. I took a look at this. Notice they used Bitly, all right? They did it on the 7th of April, and I was doing a speech on this probably 2 weeks later. If you take a look, I can take a look at the Bitly link, but if I put a plus sign after it, Bitly will tell me how many people clicked on the link. One. This is 2 weeks later. One person clicked on the link, and it was me. Okay? What does that mean? You put a lot of work into something. Not a lot of people, nobody, friends and family didn't even look at it. Here's my point to you. If you're writing a blog, might be a good idea to use something like Bitly and then see how many people are actually clicking on the link to determine how much time you want to invest in doing these things. Now, don't get me wrong. Coca Sexton is still a monster in the industry. But I wanted to use this as an example of, you could put a lot of work into something, and if nobody looks at it, then the work didn't do you a lot of good. So I just wanted you to see that as an option for yourself. If you don't have your own web page, and so you don't have your own web stats, you want to make sure that you find out if it's worth your while to be setting all this stuff up.